Hey folks, welcome to Good Story Live. It is July 21st of 2022. July, right, Jinger? It's July?
That's right, July, Jessie.
Just making sure I know where we are.
June is long gone.
Long time ago, June. I'm still referencing June everywhere. I need to get past that. We're glad you could join us.
Year. Yeah.
How far? Like August is next month.
Something
moving steadily along. Anyway.
You're glad I could join us. You're the one. You're the one, sir.
I know. I had to say it at some point because I was missing for several episodes, and you know, you carried the torch. So
we're glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you, and you're glad to have me.
Yes.
What were we doing here again? What? Oh, yeah, right. We have a guest.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We're still parsing all this out. Kevin Foseid is our guest today on Good Story Live. Kevin, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Great. Kevin is a apparel designer and started a fashion brand called Grateful Civilian. We're going to talk to him a little bit about what that is and how he started it and where the idea came from. And most importantly, is this a fashion that Jinger will incorporate into her wardrobe anytime soon? All these questions and more we will get answered. We'll get back to you in a couple minutes, Kevin. Stay tuned, all right? All right, Jinger, what do you say? Should we get the show on the road?
Let's do it.
All right, folks, let's do it. It is July 21st of 2022, and this is Good Story Live. And just like that, we've returned. We've returned yet again successfully from the intro.
Yay.
Always scared. Some people are scared. You run the intro and you never show up again. It's just gone.
Could you imagine?
A terrible thing. Especially if the guest is on.
Yeah. Is your tea better this week? Did you oversteep it again, or are you finally getting it right now that you've been drinking?
I've been getting tea. More practice with tea. Chamomile, lemon, ginger. What other ones? There's a raspberry one. So yeah. The difference is, but I steeped it a little less this time. So hopefully.
Do you enjoy tea, or do you just drink it because it's supposed to help?
It's supposed to keep me alive forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chamomile's delicious. I do like chamomile. I do like the lemon ginger. A lot of the teas out there are not my favorite.
Yeah.
How about you? Are you a tea connoisseur?
No, not at all. Not at all. I do not drink it regularly enough. I do like a ginger tea, like a mango ginger. There's one that I have really enjoyed. Chamomile is always a good one.
No pun intended there, right?
Yeah. But I do not drink tea consistently enough to really be able to know or comment anything about it. I'm more of a coffee drinker. Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear that? That's not even where I'm from. Coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee. Well, have we gone over where you're from, Jinger? So first of all, you broadcast from Studio B down in Atlanta, Georgia, but that's not originally where you're from.
No, but I'm kind of like, no, I'm not originally from Georgia. I grew up in Florida, in Southwest Florida, in Fort Myers, but I was born in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and neither of my parents, myself and my middle sister were born in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Neither of my parents are from there. It was just a kind of pit stop on their way to get to Florida, essentially.
Fantastic. So there's a lot of Southern blood in you, depending on where you've landed, because you were in North Carolina for a little while. That's where I met you when I was living there.
Yeah. This is true. I don't have Southern blood through like actual like relation or like family ties to geography, but I myself have spent a lot of time in the Southeast. Florida doesn't really count as the Southeast because I mean, unless you're in like northern Florida or maybe like central, but like once you get to the coast, it's more like Midwest or like the Northeast, depending on where you're. Which side you're on.
It's the sixth borough of New York. I mean, that's A lot of it is. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad's originally from Florida and then grew up in Massachusetts, and then my mom is Venezuelan. So
Yes, that's right.
mhm.
Little Venezuela. Is she full-blooded Venezuelan, or is there a mix of things there?
I mean, she was born there, so you've got like European heritage and Spaniard and
Okay.
whatnot, but she was born in Venezuela.
There you go.
Mhm. Mhm.
My heritage is mostly German with a little bit of Irish mixed in there.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
then,
Irish and Italian on my dad's side.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Bring that in there.
Mhm.
Lived in Wisconsin most of my life, then lived in North Carolina for many years, lived in Florida
Mhm.
for a little while, lived out in Seattle, Washington for many years, and then came back to the the Great Midwest, America's Third Coast, as they're calling it now. It's not really
Is that what
catching on,
I was gonna say,
I,
is that
they're trying to. It's a moniker that's not really sticking, but yeah, America's
whose
Third Coast.
idea was that?
Probably some PR group. Probably Don Draper came up with that. I don't know.
That's so
I mean, the Lake Michigan's phenomenal here. You know, I wouldn't.
Is it?
You can't always catch a wave. The surfers have to kind of go elsewhere, but some people try to surf.
Mhm. I have never been. I will have to come visit you one of these
Yes, you'll have to
days.
do a. We'll have to do a show where you're up here in Milwaukee, or I come down there
Mhm.
down there to Atlanta.
Or both. Both. We'll have to do
Meet
both.
somewhere in the middle. Yes.
Oh, I mean, we could do that too. One, I'll come up there and visit y'all,
Yeah.
and then you come down here
All
and
right.
visit us. It'll be a
Sounds good.
grand time.
It will be a grand
what do
old
we-
time, ladies and gentlemen.
A grand old time. So what are we doing today, Jessie?
Well, we have a phenomenal guest who's joining us in just a couple of minutes.
Mhm.
It's very exciting because I believe this is the first time on Good Story Live that we've had someone who has designed or was involved in designing apparel and logos that go on apparel. And
Mhm.
the brand's name is Grateful Civilian. We'll find out a little bit more about what that is. The creator of this brand, Kevin Foseid, is going to join us in a couple of minutes. And I'll tell a special connection that I have to Kevin that goes way, way back.
Way back.
Way in the Wayback Machine. So we'll talk
Okay.
about that in a couple minutes. But I
Awesome.
thought today, before we bring Kevin on, doing something different, instead of discussing the virtues or the attributes of some film or literary work that you and I both like, as we typically do on the show, that we would gamify it, as is the new fun term, and transform it into a game of 20 / for time 10 questions that we have each chosen a character for each other, someone from,
Yes.
my understanding is either film or literature. Is that correct?
This is correct.
All right, film or literature.
That's what I did. So
That's what I did too. So I'm glad we both got the memo. Our production assistant did right again. I'm kidding, folks. We don't have any help. So we chose someone ahead of time for each other, and we're going to ask 10 questions and try to figure out who in the world we are. And instead of it just being Jinger and I, we thought, what better way to ingratiate our guests with our Good Story Live audience than to invite our guests on board to help with this endeavor, because this is a very difficult thing that we're going to be trying to do here, right, Jinger?
I think we're both going to fail miserably.
We're going to be highly embarrassed by this. But let's bring him on. Let's introduce him to the guests, to our audience here. Our guest today, Mr. Kevin Foseid. Kevin, welcome to Good Story Live. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much of that you caught, but we're going to play a game of 10 questions, and we picked a couple of either literary or movie characters and chosen them for each other. And we're going to ask you to help us figure out who we are within that 10 question radius. And whoever wins just a phenomenal award, which is respect. Something we all want.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us wanted to go in on cash. So, okay. We'll get back to that. We'll continue on with an interview in a couple of minutes. But Jinger, do you have in mind my literary or film character?
Who you're supposed to be guessing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
got
right.
them. Mm-hmm,
I've got yours as well. So
Wonderful.
who should go first? You wanna go first?
So let me first ask a clarifying question in
Okay.
these 20 questions.
Yes. 10 questions.
Um,
We
sorry.
reduced it
Yes,
for
yes,
time.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
10 questions. 10 questions. Are these yes or no questions?
I
That
think
we have
Kevin would
to do?
agree that typically it's yes and no. Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it
Perfect.
keeps it a little simpler.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
And if there's a disagreement, maybe Kevin could be the league commissioner.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
We usually don't put this much pressure on our guests.
No.
Maybe, although
yeah,
maybe we do. We might have to take a poll on that.
maybe
All
that's
right.
why
true.
guests don't repeat. Is that you put too much pressure on them?
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe we haven't had one repeat yet. It's
Yeah.
probably
Let's do
All
one
right.
more piece of information before we move on. Let's tell everyone how Kevin and I know each other. Kevin and I go way back. This is the disclosure part of it because it could be considered unfair otherwise. But Kevin is my cousin through what is that? Marriage, blood,
Well, your father and
fidelity.
my mother are siblings, so
Yeah, absolutely.
blood, I guess.
Through blood and through toil and all the other things that keep a family together. So yeah, Kevin is my cousin from my dad's side, my dad's sister's son, and we've known each other for a long time. So
Ever since you were born.
That's right.
Who's older?
Yeah,
That would be me.
Kevin is older. Yeah,
Mm.
Kevin has so much more wisdom of the world than I do. So I go to him often for just so many things.
Yeah. As you should.
Kevin's like, not at all. So just disclosing that one fact that Kevin and I are related, but Kevin, don't give me any special treatment. If anything, be tougher on me than you are on Ginger. So
Okay, I can do that.
I was going to say, would that give you any sort of advantage? I don't think so. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward game.
Kevin doesn't even like me that much. So I mean,
Well,
it's
I mean,
just,
in 10 questions, it's hard to have an advantage.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
right.
that. Like I said, my prediction is that we fail miserably and neither of us guess. But let's see. I will start with the
All
first
right,
question.
go for it.
So, Jessie, is the person in a film?
Yes. I was being dramatic.
Am I keeping going, or are we going back and forth?
We should go back and forth to keep it interesting.
Yeah, let's do
but
that.
you have no
Okay.
check mark yet. You have one.
No,
question
I just
now,
have
which is
one of
good.
my questions. I've asked one question.
You've asked one question. That's all. Yeah, very good.
Yes,
All
I've
right.
asked one question.
Now my question, which you
Mhm.
worded yours very, very interestingly. I'm going to try to match that. Is the degree to which, forthwith, am I from literature?
No. No, not what I'm thinking.
Follow-up question. Are you sure? She doesn't even know who I am.
I know who you are. I don't know if you were also in a book, but
So your knowledge of this is that I'm not from literature. Okay.
yes.
We'll go on that then.
Wonderful.
Why don't we throw one to Kevin? Let him ask on our behalf.
Ask a question.
Oh, boy.
You're asking for me, Kevin.
I'm asking for you, so I'm asking Jessie this question.
Yes.
And
you're
so
asking
far,
Jessie.
we know that it's
Film.
from a movie. It's from a film of some
Mhm.
kind.
You have a
Okay.
lot to go on.
I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really difficult to narrow down the questions.
Yeah.
Am I male?
You are not of the male persuasion. No, that is correct.
Mm.
You are not a male.
Okay. All right.
Good question.
Okay.
Only because Ginger knows me pretty well, I'm going to throw this one out there.
Mhm.
Am I from a film from the 20th century? She knows I'm a fan of old movies. That's why I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
I do know that you are a fan of old movies. Is it my turn to ask a question?
It's your turn. And then after this, we'll have Kevin ask one for me.
Is this character from a movie I've seen?
I hope so. Otherwise, what's the point of this?
Okay.
My gut says yes. I would be shocked. I would be truly shocked if you haven't seen this movie.
Yeah.
Is there a universe? Is there a multiverse where a version of Jinger has not seen this film? Yes, that is a potentiality. I don't think that's the case here.
Okay. Okay.
So now I ask Jinger one for you, Jessie.
Yes, you got it.
Let's see. Is the genre of the film that he's from suspenseful?
Mm-mm.
Good question.
No.
It's not suspenseful at all. You could sleep through it.
Probably. Depends.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Golly. Am I?
Does that help? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
I'm
it
asking for
helps.
myself.
Sometimes, don't you need a little noise to think? It's kind of like having white noise in the background
Yes.
to focus. It's kind of like focusing my brain in. Am I in a fantasy movie?
No, not fantasy.
Okay. Gotta take notes.
I'll ask you one now. Am I a villain?
Yes. You are the villain in this film.
That was a fortunate question. Okay.
No.
All right. I know exactly who I am. No, I'm kidding. Don't know.
I don't know that you're gonna get it.
Okay. Kevin, why don't you go ahead?
Yes, and he's asking for me to you.
Or Jinger.
Do it. Yeah. Okay, do it.
Is the film that I'm from or let me rephrase that. Was the film from the 21st century?
No.
Ooh.
It was from the 19th century.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. No. Not from the 21st century.
Never mind, not my turn. Not my turn.
All right, got to mark that down. All right, you're halfway. That's 5 questions.
Yep, I know. Is it my turn? Your turn? I'm confused with whose turn it is.
Jesse's asking you now.
Yeah, I feel like
but
Kevin
go
just
ahead
asked.
and ask on my
I just asked on behalf of Jinger. So now I'm asking on behalf of Jessie.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Can we, so as a third party, this is probably even more confusing for me because it's hard to keep straight the line of questions. So
Yes.
Jessie, if you could just give me a summary of what you know of your character so far.
Absolutely.
It's brilliant.
Absolutely. In fact, let's just start the show over and give everyone a summary of what we've done so far. This is Good Story Live. No, I'm a villain from probably a 1990s, I'm guessing, but somewhere in the 20th century film era.
You were asked 20th century, and I said no.
So it's not in the 1900s.
Wait, no, sorry. we're asking on behalf of myself, right? From who I am.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now. Yeah. So my understanding is it's a movie from the 20th century in which I play a villain. Is that incorrect?
She's saying that she said no to the 20th century.
You're in the
no to the
21st century. You're in the 21st century.
So maybe yours
I'm
is
so
from the
glad
1800s. The
Could
19th
be.
century. Like.
I'm glad we clarified that. All right.
I'm so
Not
yes.
the 20th century. I am Sleepy Hollow. Okay. All right. So I am some kind of villain from, let's just be honest, probably a more recent film. Okay. And it is a film.
Mm-hmm. And it's not suspenseful. You're a villain in an unsuspenseful movie.
The stakes are very low in this film.
You're going to be from like.
I'm interested to see.
This is going to be like from a Pixar movie.
You're going to be one of the guys from the movie where all the old retired people rob a bank.
Right. Yes.
You're the guy that turned off their pension.
Yes. I love it.
Okay, so you're a villain in an unsuspenseful movie, not from the 19th century, but it is a film.
Or the 20th century.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not from the 20th century.
We're gonna have to get.
Stay tuned.
We're gonna have to get better at this. We're gonna have to get better at this. So much better.
Okay. At this. Experiment. We didn't know this would work.
Does Jessie's character die?
No.
Wow. I'm a villain who doesn't die at the end? Well, there's no suspense, so. I'm redeemed at the end, and I joined the militia. You're probably from a Hallmark movie then. That's true, right? I'm the other boyfriend option. Yeah. The bad boy with the soft heart. Have
you even determined the gender?
Oh, no, we didn't. Asked that yet. That was the one I asked for, Ginger.
Yeah. You guys are making a lot.
We'll have to weave that one in there somewhere.
Yeah.
This very low stakes villain that does not die at the end in a non-suspenseful 21st century film that is seen on Lifetime.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the reveal. It's gonna be. Is it my turn to ask a question?
I believe so.
Is this an animated film? Am I in an animated film?
You are not in an animated film, no.
Okay.
No, it is not. Not animated. Yeah. I believe that should be my next question as well. Is this an animated film?
No.
Oh, I was really hoping it was.
I know. That was going to really help me if it was animated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not animated.
All right.
Is the film I'm in made by Disney?
I'm going to give you a redo. This is your.
I'm going to take that as a no. Then
this is your freebie. I think you can ask a better question.
I mean, I could.
But she's not going to.
But no, I'm not going to. Not yet.
All right, fine. Very good. That was your question. Very good. That would be a no. Got to throw you a no on that one.
Yeah, I got the no already. It's already in my notes.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if my sarcasm was serious enough. Yeah, definitely not.
No, yeah, I got it.
That'd be a no. Okay. Is my villainous character, non-suspenseful 21st century film, is this part of a franchise?
No.
Okay.
Kevin, you got any questions to help me out?
I
only have 3.
Oh, what do we know about your character at this point? Not from Disney.
From a movie, female. Be shocked if it's something that I have not seen, which does not help me. It is not fantasy. 20th century. It's not animated, so and it's not Disney.
To everyone's shock, it's neither animated nor Disney.
Did Disney really do any like live action before the 21st century? Probably not.
Oh yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Anything that I mean, I would be shocked if I didn't guess that. You have to listen to all the questions and think about it in that context.
There's a lot.
There's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You're right. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
It was just one kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The kid.
Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves was the third one.
Man. Yeah. All right.
What are we doing? Right. Okay.
Some game.
Does Ginger's film take place in space? Like outer space?
Good question. No.
Not in outer space.
Not in outer space. Good question, though. Very good question.
Yeah.
Ginger, how many do you have left? Does your tally say?
2.
Yeah, that's what
you have. 3, or do you only have 2?
I have 3. 3 left. Okay. Kevin, I'll let you go after this one, but I have to ask the gender thing. Am I a woman?
Yes. You are a woman. Okay. Man, we should narrow this down a little bit further for ourselves next time.
ask your lifeline. See if your lifeline knows.
Does my lifeline know who I am? Are you my lifeline, Jessie?
No, I mean Kevin.
I'm the lifeline. Oh, boy.
We're on question number 9. Let me see.
Only 10 questions total. Because the people who formulated this game, in their wisdom, knew 20 questions is really what you need to get to the core of your answer, but we cut it in half and expected to do the same with 10. So,
man, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do this with one person next time, and have
just do it with ourselves,
the co-host and the guest. No, like only one of us come to the show with a character, and then the other co-host and the guest.
Ginger, we can talk about improving the show off.
Yes, we can. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about all of the I'm really struggling to come up with more questions. Female, not fantasy. Do I take place? Does the film that I'm in, or is the setting in a city, a large city?
No, not at all.
Oh. Okay.
Kevin, can you think of a good question for my character? A villainous female in a 21st century Hallmark live action made for women TV special. I'm throwing in some assumptions there, but yeah. Who, by the way, who probably is somehow redeemed at the end, or at least does not die.
No, you don't die.
It's not from a franchise. It's a standalone film.
Standalone film. That's a tough one. Is this character a human being?
Yes.
Okay. You never know. They could have gone that direction.
They could have.
This is it. Last one.
Am I the heroine?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Can I just guess?
You can just guess. Can I give you one hint?
Sure.
All right, I'll give you one hint. I don't know that this will help. It might help. This character that you are has one of the most iconic scenes of the 1990s.
That doesn't help me.
No. I didn't know if it would.
Oh, man. '90s, maybe. Not fantasy. Not Disney. Not in outer space. Not in a large city. Film. Do Kevin and I both get a guess? Does he get to guess for each of us?
Well, why not?
Why not, right?
Because we're making this up as well. So what's your guess, Ginger? And then we'll let Kevin go.
Am I...
Some members of the audience are screaming at their TV right now.
I know. If you are, write it in the comments right now because I need somebody to say. This also brings up an interesting question. I don't know that I remember characters' names. Like in the movies, I'm thinking of like the actress, not the actual
I will accept the actress, the character name, or that woman who did that thing in that one film.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Am I Demi Moore in some film?
Oh, good. I don't know? Yes. I'm a big Demi Moore fan. Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
But that was a good guess. And Kevin was like, darn, that was what I was going to say.
No, my guess is based completely on what I know of you from childhood, Jessie. So here's the guess, and it's probably wrong. But I'm going to guess the female lead from the very first Jurassic Park.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
That's the one I should have done.
That is what you should have done.
Ellie Sattler. Unfortunately, it's not Ellie Sattler.
Oh.
Man.
The female we were going with was Rose from Titanic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was hoping you would randomly ask about, I don't know, floating on a door or something. But, maybe question 16, 17.
Large jewelry.
Sorry, large jewelry. Here.
I need to remember to ask more questions about the film that I'm in. Specific questions.
Yeah. Right. I should have done that as well. Like, was the film a flop? Was it done? I've got one question left.
Yes, please.
Was this a blockbuster? Was this a huge film?
I feel like it was. I feel like it's it is very popular.
Okay. We're gonna look this up later on IMDb, and it's like
you are gonna know
$3 million
I will be surprised if you are at least not familiar with the movie.
Total bust. Nobody saw this film.
Oh no.
Kevin, do you have any idea? Because
I am lost. A female villain who doesn't die at the end. In an unsuspenseful film.
That's not part
Do all villains die?
Outside of the 19th or 20th century.
I guess not.
No, not that always.
I at least have to come up with something intelligent sounding. How about a villain who doesn't die at the end, not part of a franchise.
Did we ruled out animated?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So not animated.
20 questions makes a lot more sense.
That would have been the whole hour. We're at like 35 minutes right now.
I know.
We still have to talk to our guest about whatever it is that they do.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up here. I have no clue. I don't even have an educated guess.
You don't even have an educated. Okay.
I don't even have it. Can you give me a hint? I need a
Do you want me to tell? Do you want me to tell you who the opposite of her was?
That would be tremendously helpful.
Anne Hathaway played her character's opposite. That's a
Anne Hathaway played opposite of this character?
Yes.
Bride Wars.
Oh no, that would have been a good one, but no, that's not it.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with The Devil Wears Prada. What was her name?
Meryl Streep's character.
No, Meryl Streep. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I gave you a fabulous hint.
I can't remember.
Miranda Priestley. Yeah.
Miranda Priestley. Did we kind of get it?
I mean, he nailed the movie after you said, yeah.
I count that as a win.
Cheers to you.
Cheers
I
to
narrowed it down with Anne Hathaway quite a bit.
Yeah, you did. You did. That helped.
That helped a lot. Well, how many movies?
That was so much better than the hint Jessie gave you.
I thank you.
One of the most iconic moments in the 90s. Come on. Anyway, we've got to go to a break. We'll be right back. I'm sure the audience needs a break as well. We need a break. We're going to give Kevin a break so he can go back to the green room for a minute. We'll come back. We'll talk to him about Grateful Civilian. I know what it is. Grateful Civilian. We'll get some sanity to the show, some structure, and we'll be right back. You're watching Good Story Live. Welcome back to Good Story Live. We finished the, I don't even know what you would call that segment.
I was going to say,
the cataclysmic disaster that was. But lots of fun. Nonetheless, we're going to pivot now. We're going to be pivoting to our guest. Foseid is his name. And apparel and fashion is his game. And we're delighted to have him on the show today. Kevin, welcome to Good Story Live.
Thanks for having me.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, it's been a while because that was a long break. Introduce you. Kevin is the creator of the fashion apparel brand called Grateful Civilian. He is a native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which we talked about a little earlier in the show, and holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Grateful Civilian was created for a way for men and women to show respect and appreciation for those who have served in the armed forces, and the clothing brand features images and lingo reflective of the freedom enjoyed in this country. And Kevin, let's start off by you telling us, where did this come from? Where was the brainchild for Grateful Civilian? How did you come up with this idea?
So I think that's a good question. And what's interesting is a couple of years ago, it started off with an idea of doing essentially one t-shirt. I was thinking about putting together a t-shirt for Memorial Day just to commemorate those who have served and have fallen. And at the time, I wasn't too interested in carrying a lot of inventory, so ultimately I didn't do it then. But as the years went on and I let it percolate a little more, I started to come up with this idea of why not have a brand for people like myself who haven't served, but really appreciate and respect people who do serve this country. And so I started thinking about it from that lens. And in August of 2021, I decided to launch it. And I'm hoping with it to sort of fill what I see as a little bit of a gap in the apparel industry. So I see a lot of apparel that's made by veterans. So there's a lot of great brands out there already that are established by veterans, and you can tell that their market is veterans and other people who are in the military, which is not me. And so I like some of their products, and I've bought some of those, but at times I would feel weird wearing some of them, because I think some of their merchandise is almost like an inside joke, and you have to be a part of the brotherhood to wear it. So I don't want to be the person that is, wearing that around and portrays something that I'm not. So with that, I thought, well, what if there was a brand for people like myself, that the brand itself just speaks to the gratitude that I have, not only for being in this country and the freedoms that we have in this country, but the gratitude I have for anyone who serves, whether it be military, police officers, firefighters, first responders, anyone who essentially dedicates their life to serving the people of this country.
Now, did you always have an interest in the armed forces, and that kind of triggered this next step, or was this triggered by some event later in life that you thought, oh, this is something that I think should exist?
I think it went in a couple of phases. So as a child, I played Army a lot, I think as a lot of kids did as children, and even thought to myself as a kid, one day I'll be in the Army, or I'll be in the military of some sort. And then that doesn't always stick with you as you get through your teenage years and start thinking about careers and things of that sort. I did about 5 years ago almost join the military, and I was actually in the recruitment process. And during that time, that's really, I think, where the respect I already had really grew exponentially at that point, starting to go through that process and really thinking about and a real level of what would it be like if my life was in the military. And ultimately, I didn't raise my hand and sign up, but that respect was still there. And so that propelled kind of where I am now, where I have even a deeper rooted gratefulness and admiration for the people who do ultimately raise their hand and go into the military.
So question for you about you mentioned that a lot of the brands that currently exist in the marketplace are really created by and geared towards veterans, right? So how did you, or what do you do that makes that distinction for you with your logos and with the lingo that you use, that makes it more accessible for, again, maybe the people that want to just express gratitude and appreciation?
Yeah, the very first logo or design I ever created was a combination of what's called a battlefield cross. This was the design I was going to do for Memorial Day. So battlefield cross is the boots of the soldier with a rifle stood up in between, the helmet on top, and the dog tags hanging. And the idea being, if someone were to fall and you're kind of marking their grave with the equipment you have in place. So I used a silhouette of the battlefield cross, and I put an American flag behind it. And then I just have sort of this ribbon with text that calls out grateful civilian, and the establishment here in the 21st century of that. So that was my very first design that I put out. Beyond that, I have some other designs that just call out the appreciation of freedom, I would say, is the center of kind of what I do.
And actually, we have a couple that we were going to show. Actually, and Ginger's going to be covered up, but we can still hear her. Just the magic of what we have here. I think this is the one that you were referring to. That's the battlefield cross. And I was going to ask you, what's the story of that? Because I've seen that, but I didn't know what the story was behind that. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So my understanding of it is, it's if you were out in the field and someone were to fall and you had to mark that, you would essentially use their boots, their helmet, their rifle to mark that. Of course, I think every soldier, as much as possible, they try to bring back even the fallen as much as possible. So I don't know how often a battlefield cross actually takes place in real life, but it is something that is a common icon, I would say, for Memorial.
There's also this one, which more constitutional based, drawing back to the founding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So originally that design was, and I have it right here, it was a mug. So I created this as a coffee mug. So I had the We the People with the 1776. And then I took sort of basically a snapshot of the signatures from the Constitution. You can see John Hancock here, very large. And then I brought in Grateful Civilian, almost like a watermark. And the idea there is being ever since 1776, ever since the start of freedom in this country, anyone who is a grateful civilian was there in spirit as well. And so that's something that I have in a couple of my designs where I say since freedom. It's partially having fun because sometimes businesses or brands will call out their establishment. And I thought, well, it'd be kind of weird to be like grateful civilian since 2021. It's like, well,
but nothing before that.
Right. That's not that cool. But so to have a little bit of fun and also not to just use sort of the cliche of 1776, I use since freedom. And so the idea being, grateful civilian, of freedom ever since we've had it.
Wow.
Tell us, there's a little bit of history behind this one as well.
Yep.
What does this image represent?
So red is a military thing. It stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. And so any brand that is military related, so all of those brands that are run by veterans will have some sort of red shirt or a sweatshirt. And the idea being when service members are deployed, their family members are probably wearing these shirts on a regular basis to call out remembering everyone who's deployed until they come home. And so what I did is I took, again, the lens more of the civilian rather than a veteran where you might see silhouettes of soldiers or you might see guns or things like that. I took it from the viewpoint of the person who is at home, keeping the home, maybe caring after children. And so you have a doormat here with 2 pairs of shoes and basically boot tracks, symbolizing the boots of the soldier who's not there right now at home because they're deployed. So I created that last year and I tried to run a fundraiser with it actually. So I was only able to sell a few shirts, but basically $5 from every sale I donated to the Wounded Warriors Project. So that was sort of like a fundraiser I tried doing last September.
That's awesome. Now, have you had what's been the I imagine designing can be challenging.
It is.
Yeah. So what has been, or has that been, what's been your biggest challenge though in bringing this whole thing to life, would you say?
I would say, well, thinking of designs is very challenging. The other piece that's very challenging is being able to create what's in your head. So I'm not, I have no background in graphic design or anything like that, and certainly am not at a point where I can afford to pay somebody to do all the graphic design. So I'm making all these designs myself on an iPad, basically.
Wow.
So it's a combination of splicing together different images. There's times where I'm just putting in text and things of that nature. But the challenge really is just coming up with good designs, good ideas, and also trying to stay within my scope, or I guess my own lane, right? I don't want to, again, try to portray an image that I'm not. So I don't want to cross over into this idea of like, I'm a soldier or I was that or anything like that. I did design one shirt that's kind of it's also a joke shirt. And I found it's basically a picture of a guy with night vision goggles on who's snuck down into the kitchen in the middle of the night to get dessert. And I just wrote private sector black ops, kind of just having fun with it, being of like, this is the civilian version of a special operations mission is like, can I get down to the kitchen at 2:00 in the morning to have some cake without anyone in the house waking up?
That's Ginger. That would be clever. One for your Kevin as well.
Yeah. For sure. Or
Ginger's
my
husband's name's
son.
Kevin, so,
Yes, my husband's name is Kevin as well. My son, that would be my son Grayson. He'd be like, don't trying to sneak into he's always trying to get a popsicle from the freezer. Always
See,
trying
there
to
you
get a
go.
popsicle
I like
from the
that one.
freezer.
He's stealthy, that one.
Yeah.
That brings me to a question about, veteran reaction to your brand.
Mhm.
So have you gotten a reaction from veterans? Have they all been positive and appreciative of the support? Have you gotten any criticism?
Up to this point, all the reaction I've had is mostly friends and family. And so it's been very positive. The friends I have who have served or are currently in the service right now, I think it helps that they know me personally, so they know that I'm not trying to be, I'm not dishonoring anything. I do have a great respect, and in some ways, I'm kind of the honorary member of their brotherhood.
Mhm.
But I haven't had like people outside of my circles really respond at all to it at this point. But I haven't had the only I guess quasi negative reaction that I have ever had was I posted a picture about one of the shirts I created where it has 3 flags on it. So it has a flag with the red stripe for the firefighters, the blue stripe for police officers, and green stripe for military. And it just says thank you on it, like just a truly appreciation type shirt. And there was someone on social media that, I guess isn't too keen on police or something like that. This was, last year. So there was some upheaval and different feelings about things. And they asked what the different flags meant. And when I explained it, it just kind of had this sort of like, they didn't really say anything, but you could tell they weren't excited.
I would say the one social media post isn't bad. I mean, that's that for the most part. It sounds like it's been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. In terms of, I was going to ask about, have you had about getting it out there essentially?
Yeah.
What's that process been like for you? Promoting it? Have you found things that have worked for you? Or is it something that you're still kind of flushing out and figuring out? Because that's one of the biggest problems with creating anything is actually getting it in front of people.
Right? Yeah, that's definitely a big challenge. It's been a lot of word of mouth up to this point. Like I mentioned, friends and family. I tried using social media, I think once or twice as advertisements, but I don't think I even got responses from that. The nice thing is you can, especially with the use of like Instagram or Facebook, you can pick demographics that you want to target. So that is beneficial. It's just I haven't put enough resources towards the advertising yet.
Totally get it. Did you have a question, Jesse?
I was going to say on that regard, I mean, you jumped into something here that you knew was going to be challenging, but you had a vision for it and you went ahead, and that's definitely admirable. Was the initial goal, aside from wanting to do something to support the veterans and make the statement you wanted, did you always want to create a clothing brand? Was it just a foregone conclusion that it would be this? Or did you have to kind of narrow down, well, how do I get this message out there in a creative way?
I wouldn't say I've always wanted to create this. This was definitely something that it just kind of dawned on me. Hey, I could do this. There are resources out there to do this. And once I found a way that I could create this brand without, pre-ordering thousands and thousands of shirts, where like I have boxes stacked everywhere, that was a big turning point for me where I said, let's at least give this a try. I'll do it on the side of my normal everyday job. And, I'm not reliant on this to make an income, which is a good thing because I'd be broke by this point. But no, it wasn't something that really, I wouldn't have guessed this. If you asked me 5 years ago if I was going to do this, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that I'd be doing this now.
That's awesome. I think that's how a lot of dreams start. Wouldn't you agree, Jinger? Like that's the vision, and then slowly it comes to fruition through many manifestations.
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to say, and it's it's clearly something that you're very passionate about and you have a lot of gratitude and appreciation for. And it's nice when you can maintain that and don't also have to then tie it to being able to produce in terms of income and means. So it can still kind of maintain its specialness for you, which is wonderful.
Speaking of the product itself and different ways to promote it, do you have a special offer for our Good Story Live viewers today? Anything that you want to share?
I do, actually, yeah. Because of this show and for the viewership, there's going to be a discount code that's going live right after the show airs, or finishes up with the show. That is Good Story Live 10, and it'll give you 10% off your order. So go out there and use it. The website is gratefulcivilianapparel.com. It's a Shopify storefront, but put in that promo code at your checkout and you'll get 10% off.
Awesome. And we'll have all of that information linked in the description and on goodstorylife.com for anybody that wants to check it out.
It's very generous. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, not just because you're my cousin. Like you did that out of the goodness of your heart. That's so kind of you.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
Ginger, did you have any other questions before we wrap up?
No, it's been so lovely getting to chat with you and play our game, which is a brand new for us.
Thanks for playing, Kevin. It was very kind of you.
Oh, you're welcome, and thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely.
We'll bring you back some time when there's additional new apparel added to the store, which I periodically check, and I see new stuff added all the time. It's very cool to have a brand like that you just let the creative juices flow, and you're like, oh, this would be great, and put it on a shirt, put it on a cup. People find their way to it.
Absolutely. I mean,
that's how you find a lot of the stuff you have, right? I mean, you just
yeah, I find a lot of the stuff that I have because my devices are listening to me, and
oh no, it's through AI recommendation.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because how else would I know all of the options that are out there, Jessie? How else would I know?
Ginger has made peace with
oh yeah,
with
I have made advertise to me. Please tell me what I need. Tell me what I want, especially if I've mentioned it.
Yes. All right. Very good. Well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a Grateful Civilian ad at some point. Alexa or Siri or whoever is going to say, "Oh, you need this hoodie from Grateful Civilian."
I really wish there was some way I could show appreciation to those that have served, but gosh, I just don't know how.
Just like that. Just like that. It knows. Recommends Kevin's website.
Yep.
Well, now we know, folks, how Ginger is influenced. She's highly influenced by online advertising and recommendations. So keep that in mind. This has been fun. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Good Story Live. Ginger, do we know who we're having next week on the program? Because I think it's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah, next week we have Rafael Silva, who has been in films like Little Women, the 2019 remake. He has also done some. I know it was so good. I had not seen it, and I watched it probably in the last couple of months, and it was so good.
It's phenomenal. And I knew exactly who you meant when you said he's in that movie. I was like, I remember him. His character was great.
Yeah. So we will be talking to Rafael Silva next week, who's been in that, and then also some stuff on Netflix. We'll go over his full rap sheet next week.
Yeah, he was in Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio and
Godmothered, which is another
Yes, I saw that as well. Although I wasn't familiar with what that was. I'll have to look that up before we interview him, so I can speak intelligently to what we're saying.
Yes.
That'll be great. Looking forward to chatting with Rafael next week. Same time, same place, folks. Visit our website, goodstorylive.com. Feel free to hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss anything.
Turn on the notifications.
Yes, notifications so that Alexa can tell you things and and get inside your brain when it comes to Good Story Live. All that we promise.
Just in case you need the little reminder of when we go live.
Yeah, we promise not to abuse the tremendous power that we have.
No.
Which is nothing at all, really. Not
yet.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.